Let's go to Cumming, Georgia, where Cody is on the line. Cody, you're on the Ken Coleman Show.
Hey, Ken. How are you?
I'm living the dream, Cody. How are you?
I'm doing good. Thank you.
How can
I
I
have a question
help?
for you about pursuing a career of passion versus a career of, apparent higher pay. So I'm in the mortgage industry. I have a family of 5, including my wife. So 3 kids. I'm 24 years old. I work in the mortgage industry as a loan processor, and I make, with bonuses and incentives, about $70,000 a year. But my passion is not in the mortgage industry. My passion is actually in the culinary industry. But typically when you talk about people who work in the culinary industry, they don't make that much. So I'm stuck between, obviously being a good provider for my family and just not seeing a route to pursuing my passion and providing for my family. So I wanted to see if you could offer any advice.
Yeah, well, I need you to tell me a little bit about the culinary industry because I'm a little bit confused. Because I know some chefs that are multimillionaires.
It's true.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
they've cut the TV shows.
No, it's not just TV shows. I can think of, let's take Nashville. Let's say, okay, so we lived in Suwanee, Georgia for 11 years. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I know where you're at. I can tell you right now that there are chefs of nice restaurants in Suwanee, Georgia that are making really good money. So they're not just chefs. So the question is, when you say that I know that in the culinary industry people don't make that much money, what positions are you talking about?
That's a good question. I may not have had enough exposure to the opportunities that may pay more. So, being a chef.
But answer my question. So I'm not trying to expose you. I'm trying to find out what is it that you want to do in the culinary industry.
Yeah. So being a head chef of a restaurant. So my drawback with that is I've heard that being a head chef usually means that you basically live there. You're there for 12, 14 hours a day. And,
but who
I love
told
my
you?
family.
Who told you that?
I've worked in the restaurant industry before, and I've been a cook for a couple of years, and that's what I was told by the chefs who work there.
Okay, but do you think that was their sentence, that they had to do it that way, or they chose to do it that way because a lot of people do it that way?
I walked away thinking that was just how it was done, but I could be. I'm happy to be wrong.
Well, I think you are wrong, and what you're doing is you are limiting yourself by what you have heard and seen. So let me just free your mind here. Every coach at a Division I program, football, basketball, these guys and gals, well, it doesn't matter. They are on the road a lot. They do a lot of recruiting. But there's this idea here that you got to get up at 4 a.m. and be in the office by 5 a.m. like Nick Saban and not have a life. Okay, then so that's where all that gets generated. But I know a lot of successful coaches who, when they're not on the road recruiting, which isn't the entire year, it's a lot, but when they're not on the road recruiting, they're there with their family. So you can choose to do what a lot of people do, or you could choose to be different. Now let's look forward for a second. Cody, let's dream for just a moment. You eventually want to be a head chef. You said that clearly. Does that include you owning your own place, your own restaurant?
I don't have any business acumen, so I would explore it, but I'm not sure.
Okay, but that's fine.
Looks like.
Okay, but my point is, so you've not thought about eventually having your own place. You just want to be the head chef at the restaurant.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. I'm fine with not owning the place.
Okay, great. But my point is, that's the dream for you. And you're trying to say, Ken, can I be a head chef and be around my family who I love and provide for my family?
Right.
And I'm telling you can. But if you go into this thing going, well, there's no way I can do it because, number one, I can't make $70,000 or more, which, by the way, is garbage. You can. Certainly in Atlanta. In a lot of cities in America, if you're the lead chef, the head chef, whatever you call it, at a nice restaurant that's doing well, you can do very well. But you need to go get the facts. You actually need to practice the proximity principle and talk to a lot of chefs, not just the ones that you worked with in the past. Sit down with a chef or 2 or 3 or 4 in the next 3-4 weeks or next 3-4 months, whatever it takes. And here's what I want you to ask them. Same thing you just asked me. Hey, I heard from some chefs I worked for that if you're going to be in that role, you can just pretty much guarantee you got to be at the restaurant 12 to 14 hours a day. is that something you agree with or disagree with? If they say, yes, I agree with that, push on them a little bit. What do you have to lose? They're not going to hire you. You're asking them questions. Go, well, why 12 hours? You're telling me it can't be done in 8 hours? You're telling me that chefs are different than most of the human race who get their work done in 8 hours a day. Now, I'm not saying that you're at home at night, not maybe firing some emails out and menus and putting some things together after the kids are in bed, but you'd be willing to do that, wouldn't you?
Sure.
Yeah. Am I starting to make some sense to you?
Yeah, I think so.
So here's what's happening, Cody. You've got these walls built up around your dream, and you think that they're not scalable. And the walls have been put up there by limited information from a small sample size. Am I right or am I wrong?
Yeah, I'd say you're right.
Yeah. Buddy, I think your heart wants to cook, man, and I think you need to figure out how to do that. And then here's the good news. You're in a great role right now where you're making good money, and I think you start doing this on the side, and I think your steps going forward are once you verify that I'm right, because I'm telling you I'm right, once you get up to the top dog position, you're the top dog. That means the top dog gets to say and do what they want to do, meaning you got to lead better. And so you train your chefs underneath of you, you work with your staff, and you put in 8 hours, and then you're gone, and you see your family. You would have that authority and the ability to do that. Yes or no?
Yeah.
Absolutely, you would. So I want you to find out the things that you need to find out. And I just gave you what you need to find out. But just go verify that and go, oh, okay, so it really is up to me. And now what's the path to working your way up? Can you do it on the side for a while? You know, because you know what qualifications you need. Am I right?
Yes.
All right, so you know what to do, and you can afford to do all that. Yes or no?
Depends. I would imagine I would need some type of culinary education, which I don't have.
No, but the point is you could save up for that. You're only, what'd you say, 24 years old?
Yes, sir.
Hey, dude, it took me 9 years to get the dream job. Are you willing to do that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely you are. So you got this, man. You are going to be a chef, my man, and I am going to eat some of your food. This is going to happen. We are going to remember this phone call together in the future. And I get to Atlanta a good bit. I got a lot of family down there. So you stay in Atlanta. I want you to stay in touch with the show. And at some point, I am going to do a video. We'll put it on my YouTube channel. Whatever the story is, Cody, I am going to eat something that you cooked for me, and it's going to blow my mind one day. Do you believe that?
Yes, sir.
I absolutely believe that. So now you got to make it come true. So we're done here. Boy, I love that call. You know why I love that call? Because Cody represents millions of Americans. They've heard a few things, feels insurmountable, and they truly build a wall up. You know, build a wall these days gives people indigestion. Me too, right? I mean, you can't even say those words. You go to a cocktail party tonight, try it. Hey, what do you think about building a wall? You couldn't even get the phrase out, right? You know what I'm talking about. No. I'm not talking about that kind of wall. I'm talking about building a wall around your dreams. Oh, I don't know what you're talking about. You know, right? It's a left or right. That's what's going on. Your limiting beliefs. Listen to this, folks. I want you to catch this. Your limiting beliefs of fear, doubt, and pride, day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year, just like building a wall, brick, 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 brick. And over the time, I don't know if it's years, months, weeks, builds a wall around your dream. And you have got to tear that wall down. The only thing that tears it down is truth. The only way you're going to get the truth is by using the proximity principle and talk to a lot of people. It's like a bucket, Joe. You know what I mean? You got to carry your bucket into all these one-to-one proximity meetings. And when you're in the right places, hanging around people that are doing what you want to do. And it's like you got an imaginary bucket with you, and you're asking questions, you're learning, you're getting the real scoop. You see it. You hear it. And you take that truth and you put it in your bucket, and you take that bucket home with you. And the bucket's always nearby. And then when fear and doubt and pride rear their ugly head, you grab down, get one of those pieces of truth in that bucket, and whack-a-mole. One of my favorite games, Joe, whack-a-mole. And it's a great little exercise.